Hello, hello. Hey, Chef Alton. Hey, Atomic. I'm going to be making some videos today, which I have not done on stream before. So let's see how this goes. I hopefully recorded everything already yesterday. I say hopefully, I know that I recorded yesterday, but sometimes in editing, you find out, oh, I need to repeat something or redo something. Hey, Gluskup. Hey, Leap Year Girl. Hey, Blob. All right, so he recorded the content yesterday and hopefully doesn't have to redo anything. Yeah, so yesterday I also emailed a ton of people. Man, I just I don't like doing that as much as I did. And at one point I was timing how long it took and I was spending like 7 minutes per email. So it took me so many hours yesterday to get through the list that I had. Diamond Assemble. You can form Megatron over there. Anyway, let's get to it. So I made 3 videos. And where are they on my machine? Hang on a second. I gotta find this off screen first. There's gonna be a tiny bit of private stuff here, and then we should be able to just move forward with everything on stream. Let me see where this is. New shorts. Okay. So the first one we're gonna cover is the sheet music one. Let's go do that. So new project, sheet music in Skeleseller. Okay. Now we drag this over. All right. I usually put a couple takes in here. So let's do this. So I'm not an expert video editor or anything. This is just the process that I do. So you will probably find that it is not perfect. First, I start by just trimming off the parts where there is no audio. Okay. There we go. And then we change this into vertical resolution over here and change this. Okay, the way that I've been recording lately has been with like one screen, the thing I want to show on video, and then my camera over to the side. So we need to actually split this into 2 different videos now, which means we need to unlink these things. Okay, there we go. Okay, then let's name this one cam and this one footage. Actually, the camera should be the other way around, right? Camera on top, cam, footage. You could probably just rearrange those. Okay, next we need to arrange this correctly. So let's put this, actually, do we do this first? I forget exactly how this works. So here's my beautiful face. And then let's turn that off for a second. Do you turn this off? Disable. And then let's get this over here. And I'll have to figure out where we want to position this. Hey, Matt. Hey, Freak Technic. Can you feel that you're streaming while editing? I guess we have enough spare encoder hardware. It's not that noticeable. No, it doesn't feel any different to me. Maybe once I publish the video, we're going to see some aberrations. Okay, so now I got to green screen the camera out. I like vaguely remember how to do this. Chroma key. Okay, well, let's just maybe figure it out. So I think we have to make a new compound clip after like color editing this thing. Add alpha output. Let's see if I know anything here. Then we pick like here on the green screen and click something. I don't remember. I wrote a note about this. Hey, Blue Bug. And hey, Phil M. and Cuddlefish and Hef. You recommend going to college for game dev, or can I just use AI to teach me? I think it all depends on what structure you are used to. So if you find that you're not motivated to learn things on your own, or that AI isn't helping you, I think going to college could be a good idea. But if you're able to learn things, like what's the mark of being a game dev? It's being able to make games, probably also with the caveat that people enjoy those games or that they sell well or something. So if you make games and people enjoy them or they sell well, whatever it is you're looking for, you probably don't need schooling. But if you find that it's too hard to get to that point for yourself, then you might need schooling. So yeah, it's totally up to you to figure out. Hey, TJ. And hey, Ramy. Learning curve is quite steep. Well, it's just there's so many things that you do when it comes to video editing. And in my case, I've done this a bunch of times. I did it a while ago. And I wrote down how to do this, but maybe not in here. Huh. Okay, no, I think I know where it is. Hang on. Engage privacy mode. Engage privacy mode. There we go. All right, let me see if I can find this over here. Because I wrote something for making shorts. Yeah. All right. All right, yeah. So I have my notes here. I don't know why I didn't put it in my DaVinci notes. Okay, click green, click my face with a feather plus tool. Hey, Xyletics. Wary of most game dev education, the same way I'm cautious about education in other creative fields. It's a great way to learn, but you have to accept that it's very likely you'll invest your time and resources into it without a viable career path at the end. Yeah. That's totally possible. But in terms of how to learn the thing, I think it could be a good route for some people. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't write down the exact instructions how to do this because I have a YouTube video that I was watching. So let me just pull up this YouTube video again, except for I can't stream this. So let's see. So I did the first step. Then the next step is to color pick here, which we did. We got that. Oh, right. And then we swap over to this and then change some of these things. Give me a sec. Expert video editor. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good. Then you make a compound clip out of this, I think. Okay. Hey, Flare. You can drag the triangle inward if it did too much and made my fingers look like AI. All right, we'll have to try that out later. Then after getting done with all that, the video won't actually have an alpha channel until you click new compound clip instead of cropping it. All right, great. Yeah, we're making progress. Okay, now we crop this. And then probably shrink this too. Actually, I might have wanted to do this differently. Yeah, I might have wanted to actually blur this in a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. All right, now we make a new compound clip and then we crop it. Wonderful. Okay, so now we should have, whoop, stop talking. Yeah, it's a pretty short clip. How big do I want to be over this clip? I think reasonably large because I am just talking about sheet music and there's otherwise no visual interest here. Oh, wait, I still messed this up. We still have that green splotch at the side. Oh, there was something else I was supposed to do. But I forgot what. Feather plus tool. Okay, that's what I forgot. Oh, man. All right, I think we got to revert all of those changes I just made. Like extras. What is happening? Huh, it still has a color change. Wait a second, what? Hold on. Something unusual is happening here. I don't have a compound clip in. Oh, I see. I can't cut out the background. Got it. Okay. So there's a feather plus tool here, this one. Yeah, and I pick my face. And then we got to figure out how to get rid of the background over there. which I think I'm blocking right now. Hey, Phil V. Phil V sounds like the name of a Pokemon to me. Like I caught a Phil V. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I think I kind of messed everything up. Can we revert this whole thing somehow? Reset node grade. Yeah, perfect. Okay, because yeah, it's pretty dark at the bottom of the green screen there. Let me try this again. Maybe we'll pick a darker part of the green section. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Yeah, that's probably better. And then click this. Aha. Okay, that's a lot better. All right, now do we want to lock that in? Yeah, probably. Probably a better minus tool. Yeah, I basically do this mechanically and just follow a set of instructions I've written for myself. And in this case, I should have written these down explicitly and not just referred to a video. But now I think we're pretty good here. So now we lower that down, put that over there. Okay, now let's listen to some of the audio, see what we got here. I've never... Hope this isn't super loud, so let me know if it is. Never seen a game do this before, probably due to low demand. But when you buy Skeleseller, you'll find a folder alongside it called Extras. In it is sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Okay, that's pretty good. This is why my process is a good process, because normally I'd have to do a lot more after that. So the question is, we need music and we need maybe captions. I'm actually not sure. Can anyone tell me what the TikTok meta is? Do they put captions on top of their videos for something like this? Hear it. Maybe we should extend that just a tiny bit until I'm not making a weird facial expression. There's no way to not have me making a weird facial expression, is there? They do put captions. I'm not sure why. Okay, so then maybe we should add some captions. Okay, I'll put the captions. Do we have music here? What is this? Oh, this is the desktop audio track. Okay, we don't need that. Let's turn that one off. And then, oh, another thing I like to do here is trim out any like vocalized sounds that you don't want in the video, or probably due to low demand. So like breathing sounds like this. When you buy Skeleseller, you'll find a folder alongside it called Extras. In it is, yeah, maybe that a little bit. Sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Yeehaw. Okay, next up, music. So music, we're going to pull from the game. Audio, music. Okay, what's the best one to have in the background for this? Not this one. Yeah, I like this one. Okay, let's throw that in. Probably due to low demand. Folder alongside it called Extra. Where does this not have the intro play? Let's just take it from here, some random portion of it. Then let's lower it by about -20 and see how the balance of that is. I've never seen a game do this before, probably due to low demand. But when you buy Skeleseller, you'll find a folder alongside it called Extras. In it is sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Okay, that's pretty good. And I think all we have left is captions. So let's go do the captions. Let's set this to this. I like double line captions. This is thankfully so much nicer due to AI here. Like I don't have to make all these different clips, although you will see the work I still have to do for this. but it's not generally that bad. I've never... Okay, so now we change the track, load in the preset that I made for this. All right, and then probably shrink this a little bit. Yeah, how about this? Let's change that to here. Yeah. And I'll move this around afterward. Seen a game do this before, probably due to load. And then I like changing the punctuation. I would actually be correct. So like in this case, in EM dash. Or probably due to low demand. But when you buy a Scala, when you buy a Scala seller, due to low demand. But when you buy Scala, I should probably just bump this into the next one, huh? No, actually, that's fine. You'll find a folder alongside it called extras. Hey, Jigenzo. The AI text, I know. Due to low demand. But when you buy Scala seller, you'll find a folder. Put a comma on there. Find a folder alongside it called extras. In it is sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. 15 hours arranging the whole... Should be maybe a touch sooner. Arranging the whole soundtrack. Yeah, that feels a little bit off to me. Let's just do that. Arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people... There. And there. Soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. Let's do this too. Try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. And then we put a heart emoji. Recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Okay, cool. All right, so now we got to go modify the whole track and put this in a better position, I think. So where's the positioning of this? Here it is. So we probably put it a little bit higher up. Yeah. Okay, so how's this whole thing look? I've never seen a game do this before, probably due to low demand. But when you buy Scala seller, you'll find a folder alongside it called extras. In it is sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, all right. That's a pretty good video, right? Only question is, should we change some of the theming on this, on the caption? I want to... Hey, Goose. Hey, Geese. Maybe a little bit of blue. Why not? Whoops. Why shouldn't it be slightly blue? And just a little bit more opaque. I've never seen a game do this before. Let me just turn this off now. That looks kind of stupid. If we're going to do blue at all, maybe it should be like just a hint of blue. Yeah, and then I just want a little bit more padding around it. How do we do that? I think you have to change that on individual ones. I don't want to spend the time doing that. There's another way you could do this though, which is override sizing and then change the width and height of all of them. I don't mind this. Let's see what that looks like. Well, this looks gigantic now. We can't have that. But then we need to make sure every single one of these fits, or change the font size individually or the width individually. I don't know if that's better. Makes you look at the video and read. I think it's just for people who don't have their audio on and still want to watch the video and understand what they're talking about. Yeah, so I think this looks a little bit large here. I think we should just shrink to maybe... no, actually, maybe this is fine. All right, let's watch one more time, because then I want to be done with this one. This didn't take very long. I've never seen a game do this before, probably due to low demand. But when you buy Seller, you'll find a folder alongside it called Extras. In it is sheet music. I spent something like 15 hours arranging the whole soundtrack for beginner to intermediate piano. I hope people try them and enjoy them. And if you end up recording yourself, share it. I'd love to hear it. Okay, everything's great except that I just realized that there's a bunch of blank space beneath me. But that's easy to fix. Done. All right, and there's our short. So now we want to export this. So we're going to call this sheet music. Browse to DaVinci Resolve. Where is that? Yeah. Okay. And audio. Optimize? Normalize? I never know which one's better here. I should probably look this up. I think it was mostly talking. I usually pick optimized. All right. Now let's see what this does to the stream. This is a very short video, so it shouldn't take long to render it. But I'm going to just keep talking throughout this. I don't know how long it's going to take, maybe like 10 seconds. But I wonder if you'll hear any difference in my voice. Yeah, it's already done. It took 3 seconds. So now we have video number 1 finished. So if I get done with all this pretty fast, I guess we're going to go look at the backlog. By the way, I did decide, so here are the 3 videos we're going to do. I did one on font spikes, I did one on that goblin. I decided to go for covering the Easter egg in the game. And I, as always, thought a lot about this and weighed the pros and cons. So like the question was, should I share videos of pretty much all the cool hidden stuff I did? And I think the pros are people may not find it otherwise. People may, it may convince people to share the video or buy the game. I think a con is it ruins the discovery. That's, I think, the only con of this. And here's what I thought. Let's say you're really excited about a new movie. Dune 3 is coming out. You watch a trailer and now you're even more excited about it. You're probably not going to go look up the plot synopsis and, I don't know, all the spoilery reviews that exist. You're probably just going to be like, I'll just go watch the movie, even though you know that stuff exists. So viewers have their own control over this. If they don't want the discovery to be ruined, it's like, well, stop watching videos about the game, right? And then even if I thought, okay, what if someone watches 100% of the content out there? Maybe they watch someone play through the game. If they still want to play afterward, they could still play. It's still a fun game. It's like if you know there's no plot in tennis, but if you knew you were going to win the match, you might still have fun just getting to that win. Zero effect reverse? Okay, yeah. And hey, Carson. Yeah, I don't know what optimize is either, but the normalize I understand. Okay, now let's make a new project. And we're just going to do the same process over and over. So this one we'll do the goblin. Seller goblin. Create. Okay, now we set this to vertical, image scaling to this. Go over to here, drag in our goblin clip. And just do this a bunch of times. I mean, I say a bunch. We only really have 2 more videos. This one has game audio, right? There should at least be one section in here that has it. I think I did some false starts, so it probably starts over here. Okay. Yeah. This is it. Okay, so for this one, we got to make sure goblin audio from the game is coming through. It's a compressor, then normalization. Oh, okay. So I should pretty much just always use optimize, right? If I just solo this track, we should hear one sound in like 30 seconds. Right there, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, part of the reason I didn't just advance to that is I want to make sure there are no other sounds, because I try to curate the environment that the game is running in. And sometimes I do that poorly and there's a customer buying an item or something and it makes a cha-ching sound and I want to cut that out. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else here. Okay, so we unlink this just like before. Copy, paste, put this over here, call this footage, and call this the camera. All right, now move this over to the side. Hello there, Adam. Okay, now do this and this and this. This is me chroma keying out through the video editor. I used to do this in OBS, and I realized that's not a great idea because then I'm going to have a different background. Like, you can't have a transparent video exported through OBS, at least as far as I know. So what am I doing here? Picking this, I guess, farther down the green screen. Good. All right, that's pretty good. Now we feather around the face. Yeah. Now let's see if there's any hand movement here, because hand movement can look weird. I'm going to mute. Well, actually, I guess it's already muted. Anywhere I'm moving my hands, did it mess up? Do I look like I have AI fingers? Show me your fingers. Okay, well, I don't see anything weird, but it's also only the bottom of my fingers there. Or the very top of my fingers. Yeah. Seeing a lamp. I'm the genie in the computer. Show me your fingers might sound creepy if I wasn't saying it to myself. All right, what is all that green doing in the background? That's probably me doing a shoddy job at this, right? Can we, like... Oh, no, it's not me doing a shoddy job. It's... Wait, maybe it is. Ah, yes, perfect. Okay, great. Now we Command Z until my face isn't deleted. Oh, you can't do that. Uh-oh. All right, is that a pretty crisp border? Yeah. Perfect keying. My face is gone. All right, now we make a compound clip. And then we crop. Crop. This I'll zoom in for. So I don't want to chop off too much. Okay, although this one has more intrigue in the game itself, so I probably don't want to block the whole screen. Oh, I didn't even vertically position the other. Oh, whoops. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so what can you see in this video? There's a goblin. Yeah. And the extent's pretty good. Yeah. We might want to do it a little bit more to the left. Wait, no, we can't do it more to the left. We can only position up and down right now. And as far as up and down goes, I guess we could lower this a smidge. Probably not a lot. And how much room do we even have? Just that much. Yeah. And is that garbage up there? Yeah, I think it's garbage. There. Hey, Nix. Okay, now we position me such that I don't look like I'm blocking the whole thing. And then we shrink me so that I'm definitely not blocking the whole thing. Maybe I put myself over to the side. I just don't want to block the goblin. How's that look? Just in terms of interest. There's no audio. Yeah, I'm not blocking it. Still not blocking it. So I moved the camera. Nice. All right, yeah. Okay, so at no point am I blocking this. Hey, monkeys. I think right in the middle upside down. I think like inverted with some red only filter. So I look like a demon. So now the only problem is I don't know where we'll put captions if we have them. Let's listen to the audio first though. So let's no longer solo this. Okay. Oh, that's too much. As long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller. Here's what I get rid of that. I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot. But once they start walking, they're quite apparent because they're the only green townsperson. When you click them, I love the sound effect. Townsperson. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of items which you could then sell. This feature is just for sell. This feature is just for fun. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller and never saw the goblin, it wouldn't really hurt your experience because items are in abundance anyway. Okay, that's pretty good. Cut this out. What do we have here? It's because items are in abundance. It wouldn't really hurt. Yeah, nice. This sounds like it's echoing. It might be the speakers coming through the mic. Hurt your experience because items are in abundance. Yeah, it's that. If I mute myself, it won't sound like it's echoing anymore. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller and never saw the goblin, it wouldn't really. So if that just fixed it, then yeah, that's just me having to listen to my own thing, and I don't have headphones easily accessible right now. Okay, we need music for this too. Let's plug this one in here. Oops. Volume -20. Okay, let me mute myself again. Okay, as long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller, here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot. But once they start walking, they're quite apparent because they're the only green towns. You don't think it did? That's not good then. There's an... What could cause that? Let me watch the VOD. Whoops. The VOD. Whoops. You don't think it did? You might plug this one in here. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller and never saw the goblin, it wouldn't really. So if that just fixed it, then yeah, that's just me. It's not necessarily echoey. It sounds like I'm in a different room almost. Is that what you mean? It's not what it sounds like to me though, right? Here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Huh. What would do that? Like there's an echo during recording. Yeah, the sounding like I'm a cathedral is there, but the echo I don't like. First of all, it sounds different through this video than it does through what I'm editing. What's on the agenda for today? I try to always keep the today command up to date. So that's what we have, at least at first. But it looks like we're going to get this done probably pretty quickly, maybe another like 45 minutes. So then we'll probably move on to backlog tasks. I already muted this again, didn't I? Does that sound like it's echoing? It might be the speakers coming through the mic for your experience because items are in a... Yeah, it's that. If I mute myself, it won't sound like it's echoing anymore. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller and never saw the goblin. That's so weird. Is that happening for music and everything too? Like what would cause that? Let me listen to this. I'm going to play some music for a second. Oh, that didn't stop it. Okay, now I want to hear what that sounds like on the VOD. Okay, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't hear it on the music. I only hear it on my voice, but here it sounds fine to me. Added that I think is really fun. That I think is really fun. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's my thank you face. Okay, well, the rest of this is fine. Where's that one sound effect that we had? Here? When you click. Yeah, so how about this? Let's just trim out everything that's not that, because there's nothing else in this soundtrack. There. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of... I almost want that to be a touch louder, too, just so that you can definitely hear it. Person. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of items, which you can... Yeah, nice. I like that. Interesting reverb through some settings. Yeah, but only on voice somehow? Like, why wouldn't I hear it on the music? And I don't even see... The only thing I have on that track is a compressor. Turn down your Mac volume and it goes away. I think it's your mic picking up the speaker sound. No, but I muted my mic for that clip. Excuse me, that I took. So yeah, I don't totally understand it. But hey, here's what we're gonna do. As long as when I export the video to YouTube, it doesn't sound weird at all, then yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry. This is just gonna be a degraded experience for the stream, I suppose. All right, so this is done. And now the only question is captions. Do we... Oh, and also this, I guess. So where would I even fit captions? Recorded voice doesn't sound as good as your current mic voice. Yeah, but I think it's just a streaming issue. Like, it sounds the same to me. Wait, no, it doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't sound the same to me. It can't sound the same. It sounds like what it should sound like in the video editor. The music did echo? Okay, yeah. So then it's just something with OBS. Man, I wonder what that could be. Because like I said, the only filter I have on this is a compressor. Yeah, I don't know what would cause this to echo like that. Huh. Anyway, let's take a look at captions. I might put these like small and off to the right side here. That might work. Okay, as long as I'm ruining... Yeah. Okay, as long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller. Here's what... I love how it doesn't know what to do for Skeleseller. Okay, as long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller. I should probably put egg in the same caption, huh? Whoops. Ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller. Here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to do that. I also got to make sure that these are actually correct. Yeah. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot. But once they start walking, they're quite apparent because they're the only green townsperson. Green townsperson. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of items which you can... Click them, they'll drop a couple of items which you could then sell. Yeah. They'll drop a couple of items which you could then sell. This feature is just for fun. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller... Skeleseller. Skeleseller. Through Skeleseller and never saw the goblin, it wouldn't really hurt your experience because items are in abundance anyway. All right, that's pretty good. It wouldn't really hurt your experience because items are in abundance anyway. Okay, cool. Point of cutting out the small non-talking sections of audio. Every once in a while, so if you hear me talking now, I don't know how apparent it is, but I will breathe in between sentences, like, and you'll hear that in the video, and I just don't think it sounds professional. Did you pay for this? Yeah, I paid for this. I think it's a great value for what you get, but also the free version is pretty great too. So yeah, I think it's worthwhile to buy. Did you make sure your mic was actually muted? I clicked the thing in OBS. Like, if you can't hear me talking in just a second, so hopefully you did not hear the rest of that sentence. Professionals don't breathe. Well, professionals probably have a better mic that doesn't pick up the breathing or it somehow automatically cuts that out. I have to manually do this, and for longer videos, it's kind of annoying. All right, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I was going to move the whole track off to the side. Let's go do that. Okay, so then I did properly mute my mic. That's good. All right, so how do we move all this track? I want to change the position and probably the sizing so that it fits like there on the right side. This is probably going to look really stupid. Maybe I should make it like 3 lines big. So we position it down here, but now I need to make it smaller. I mean, we could just use the zoom for that, I guess. Oh, that's probably not the right way to do things. The right way to do things is probably by changing the font size. How do we change that? Ah, here. No, that's not there. There, yeah. All right, this might be too small now. And you also have to be careful. There are like safe zones on each platform. So you might not be able to read these because of all the Chrome from the platform itself. Although, how big is this? It's readable. We're getting to slightly unreadable territory. I want to shrink it just a tiny bit more. There. And now let's see, what's the longest line that we have? This. Okay, let's just override this one. It looks kind of stupid, doesn't it? No, it's not too bad. I just talk really fast sometimes. Why is this not working? What's going on? That's weird. Oh, I'm in the wrong caption, that's why. Wait, no, that's not possible that I'm in the wrong caption. Oh, I just don't have customized caption on. All right, we're going to make this 3 lines long. Yeah, I can push it to 3 lines, yeah. Take care. Take care. Quite apparent because they're the only green townsperson. When you click them, as this isn't fit either now. All right, let's do that too. They'll drop a couple of items. You can then sell. Yeah, we need to customize this to make it a little smaller as well. Okay. Just this should probably be rearranged a little bit. Same. And then this, we shrink like so. Cool. And customize that and make it a tiny bit smaller. So now that one that I set to size 17 should probably be changed. That was at the beginning of the video. Yeah, this. This should probably set to 20 and I should just make it take 3 lines. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. Yeah, perfect. Way more patience than I have for this kind of thing. Once in a while, I have to do some editing in my line of work and I rage easily. So I do think the program you use matters. I also don't really mind editing too much. Like sending emails was painful. Painful. Yesterday, I wanted to quit so many times and I was like, this is what grit is, Adam. Just grin and bear it. You have to do this. But I did not enjoy that. Because part of the reason, part of this is philosophical. I don't want to copy paste emails. So I go and look up the influencer a little bit and like check out some of their videos really quickly, like enough to get a grip on who they are, what they're about, so I can type like 2 customized sentences to them. And most of them aren't going to respond or check out Scale the Seller anyway. So that's, I think, part of why that rubs me the wrong way. Here, at least I know that whatever work I'm doing, whoever sees this video is going to take in that work, even if they don't notice it or appreciate it. But yeah, when I reach out to 100 influencers, let's say, and 20 respond, it's like, well, if I'd known that ahead of time, I wouldn't reach out to those other 80 people. Once they start walking, should be together on the same slide. Where is that one? Difficult to spot. But once they start walking, they're... Yeah. It's a good call. Okay. All right, so now let's watch. Okay, as long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Scale the Seller, here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide. You know what'd be nice is to see an arrow pointing at it. Once you beat the dragon, yeah, like right around here. How do you do this again? There's some way you can control the size. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I want to go find game assets, UI, cursors. Yeah, so plug this in over here. Dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot. A sneaky goblin. Yeah, like right around there. Okay. Where's the cursor? Huh, why don't I see this image? I don't understand. Maybe it's really tiny? Oh, yeah, it was really tiny. Really tiny. Okay. So how do we change the interpolation on this? Is that possible? Yeah, I don't know how to not have that happen. DaVinci Resolve change interpolation when zooming. I mean, I could just export a larger graphic. Adjust zoom level in the viewport. Just the interpolation that's used. Like, this looks really choppy. You can see individual pixels around it, and you shouldn't... Well, not individual pixels, I guess, really, but it just looks like blurred. There should be some way to change that, right? Clip attributes. Image sizing. Pixel aspect. Super scale. I'm not sure. Change image interpolation. Nah. Yeah, let's just export a larger graphic. It's not worth spending the time on this. So I'll just open this up over here and we'll just scale up the whole image to what I have it zoomed into, like 10 times. What size is that? It's like 9 times. Yeah, I think 8 or 9 times is probably good. So times 9. I want nearest neighbor. Nice. There we go. So now we export this as large cursor. Big cursor. And I'd like to put that inside the project itself. So let me go put this over there. Give me a sec. Videos. OBS, new shorts. There we go. Okay, now we delete this from the whole project. And then drag this one in there. Now we don't need any zoom. Okay, cool. Dragon, a sneaky goblin control. Yeah, so let's do a video effect, video transition, cross dissolve on that. And cross dissolve fading out. And then we want to animate this pointing. So let's rotate it already. Can we flip this as well? Yeah. Is that the right shadow? Yeah, I think so. Goblin can show up in your town. All right, so let's get the end position for this. The end position should be where the goblin actually is, which is right there. Can you actually see them there? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, and then make a frame or a keyframe for that. And then we go back to here. And we want to make this come in from out of the frame. Actually, no, do we? I think from over here is probably good. Perfect. So now we need to bump that backward. A sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees. Yes. So keyframes. Okay, so let's do this. Change the easing and then move this backward. And let's take a look at that. Why won't this play? Sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very... So wait a second. I want it to be moving already by the time that happens. A sneaky goblin can show up in your town. Yeah, so this is not far enough back. So I want this to be like here. Again, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're... Okay, that's, I mean, decent. It's not great. I think we want to move the whole thing backward now. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. Yeah, so what do I want to do? I want to move this backward a little bit. The dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up. And then move this over to here, maybe? Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're... Yeah, so that's decent. Now I just need to control the timing on this. Let's stop listening to my voice. Yeah, I like that. In fact, even a little bit less than that. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? So let's watch the whole thing. Okay, as long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skelecellar, here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot. But once they start walking, they're quite apparent because they're the only green townsperson. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of items which you could then sell. This feature is just for fun. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skelecellar and never saw the goblin... Wait a second. There's supposed to be a selling sound there. I guess I shouldn't have deleted that. Drop a couple of items which you could then sell. This feature is just... Yeah. Now you can hear it, although it's subtle. For fun, if you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skelecellar and never saw the goblin, it wouldn't really hurt your experience because items are in abundance anyway. Okay, I like that. I think it's a good video. Cool. So let's publish this. This is Skelecellar Goblin. And optimize. All right, we got one more video. I'll probably take a quick break before that. What time is it? 9:24. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll be back in a little bit and then we'll do the final video. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, I'm back. Close the game. Okay, so we got just one more video to make. Let's go make a new project. This one is about the text spikes. This one's not a Skeleseller video, so I'm not really sure how it's going to be taken. I guess we'll find out. It might not do well. And whatever, I wanted to make it. It wasn't too hard to make. Here it is. Okay. Drag this over to here. All right, how many takes did this? They're all like 2-3 takes. I mean, I probably recorded a couple of times to even get to the clip that was 2 or 3 takes. You release them all at once, no clue is better. The Skeleseller ones, actually, no, I'll probably hold off by like a day or two in between them all. I generally don't have a very large audience for my YouTube shorts, at least. So if you look at content over here, shorts, and can we sort by view count? Yeah. So my best short was on VS Code and got 16,000 views. That's not very good. And then the ones about Skeleseller, the best one there did like 7,000 views. So yeah, these are not really pulling in a large audience. Now on TikTok, they did better. I don't have TikTok on my phone or anything, so I use my wife's phone for that. But there, if we look at the last 3 months of wishlist, you actually see, I guess it's not super apparent anymore. Wait, no, hold on. Maybe, what am I doing? No, it is super apparent. It's the big spike. I just thought I was looking at the lifetime history. Yeah, so that is due to the videos I posted on TikTok, I believe. So there's a spike up to like 300 wish lists in a day. That's really good. Like those videos got maybe 40,000 views on TikTok. So yeah, that was a lot better. And I'm hoping that that'll happen again because yeah, wish lists have really died down. And part of the reason why is there was Next Fest running. So if people wanted to play a demo, they'd probably have found that. Part of the reason why is that we're not as high on popular upcoming as I would have liked to be because other games set a release date before Skeleseller. So where are we on this list now? I'm guessing like number 115 or something. It's still too far away. Skeleseller, you are number... Oh, exactly 115. That was a total guess. But it was based on what the prior number was, which was like 128. So yeah, how many games are coming out? Is it today? Yeah, today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, just 4. And then tomorrow is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow, 21, 22. 22 games are coming out tomorrow? I guess a lot of people really want to launch on a Saturday. How many people chose Sunday? It's going to approximate. Yeah, it looks like maybe 15 to 20. And then Monday has almost nothing. Is that Monday? Wait, no, sorry. What am I talking about? Saturday. Today's Wednesday. I keep thinking that it's Friday because of yesterday. Yeah. So I guess a ton of people are launching on a Friday. Is that what? Yeah. And then not as many people on Sunday. No, that's Monday. All right, I'm done figuring out dates. I clearly don't know how calendars work. If they released earlier today, they'd no longer be on this list. I would assume so. I don't know if you stay on the list on the like right after you launch because it says upcoming. I think you might go on to new and trending at that point if you happen to do well. So anyway, at some point, right now we're number 115, but at some point we'll be number no higher than like 7, however many games launch that day. And at that point, more people will be funneled into the game. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at this video. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just... Okay, get rid of that. What about at the end? It made me question my assumptions. Cool. At 31. Marathon comes out tomorrow or midnight tonight. Yeah, Slay the Spire 2 comes out tomorrow. I think it's pretty much impossible to avoid like big games launching because there are enough big games now that launch all the time where it's like, actually, there was a streamer I wanted to reach out to and they play Slay 1 right now because Slay 2 is not out. And I thought there's just no reason reaching out to them. They're going to play Slade 2, and they're not going to be done with the game anytime soon. And they're going to want to ride that hype wave for as long as they can. So, like, yeah, it just wasn't worth it. And it's before March. I don't think it was even possible to know when Slade 2 was launching. They had March listed, but not the exact date. Or like before mid-February or something, they had March listed. Now they said it's tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know when Marathon announced their release date. Now, thankfully, I'm not competing with Marathon. It's a first-person shooter, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get this video done. So, what do we got as our main content here? Oh, this is supposed to be a short. So let's set it into short territory. And then let's unlink this and put this over here and call this one footage and this cam. Okay. Got to chroma key this out again. Getting to be pro at this. This is generally how this works. If I end up doing a lot of shorts in a row, I know the process well enough to be able to do this. Now there is that portion at the bottom there which suggests that I did this kind of incorrectly. What is going on right now? I want to undo the color grading that we had for this. How do you reset this? And this. And this. There. Perfect. Okay. I'll try picking lower down so that we get the darkest sections. Oh, right. That's in the other layer. So I think that's fine. Oh, which means I should undo this again. Is rendering fine. God, it's so difficult sometimes. I should turn off that other video. There. Now, as I chroma key this out, we'll actually be able to see the change, huh? So much for I'm getting better at this, huh? Okay, now we feather on the face. Trimmed out a decent amount. I think it's fine. Is it free? It is free, yes. I use at least one feature that's not free, though, which is the automatic captioning. Only a few games that everyone competes with. Something like GTA 6. I don't know. Even then, I don't think there's a universal game that everyone ends up competing with. Like even Minecraft, I kind of think, yeah, it has a gigantic player base, but you could probably still launch a different game and people would be interested in it. Now, it's different for content creators. For content creators, they need to think of what their audiences want, and they can't necessarily deviate from their main game. In fact, I just reached out to someone who was kind of complaining about this, and I commiserate for sure. Like, your audience gets used to whatever it is you're doing, so then you have to do that thing, and at some point you are very likely not going to want to do that thing anymore. And this happens to practically every gaming streamer, unless they do variety content from the get-go. They just get locked in, and then if the game is unfun or there's like a bad meta or something, then too bad. It's like that's what pulls in the money. Okay. Oh no, did I forget to snap that down on the first video or the second video? Did I still have that open? I don't know if I do, and I don't remember if I did that. Hang on a second, let me go find that. Where are my videos? Videos, DaVinci. What was the last one I did? The Goblin one? Here it is. Okay. How do I not have this thing be gigantic? No, still too large. No, this one's fine. Whew. Word of mouth and spread. It's far less likely to be successful during a massive game. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would dominate the news cycle for a lot of this. Anyway, I don't know how Skeleton Seller is going to do. Like, metrics on their own are not just going up. It's not like people are sharing the game. And it doesn't have a lot of gameplay to it, and there's no like Twitch integration or something. So these are all things that could potentially hurt it and require just more marketing effort from me. All right, put that down there. Nice. Okay, now let's figure out what we're doing on this. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. That just glitched at the beginning? What is that? Here's a fun game dev. No, it did not. That was me. Okay. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the... Yeah, so I'm covering this, of course. That's a bad look. Let's go fix that. I want the lowest pixel to actually be... Yeah, there we go. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve instead of that spike, which is exaggerated by the engine. And that's it. That fixed the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my assumptions. Is that a good video? I think it's a good video. I think there's intrigue. There's a plot twist at the end. Clap. Hey, lava cake. Here's a fun game. All right, let's now trim out the audio stuff. Game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. Oops. There we go. W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve instead of that spike, which is exaggerated by the engine. And that's it. That fixed the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my assumptions. Okay. Take care, 31. And hey, board IT guy. Okay, should we even add music to this? I mean, I could put the Skeleton Seller music in. Sure, why not? I think people like music in their videos. Another Adam TLC. I'm just a Sims character in your world. Now, all of a sudden, text that was rendering... I mean, this is very loud, so let's turn this down, but... Fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was... Okay, let's slam this over to the left side. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve instead of that spike, which is exaggerated by the engine. And that's it. That fixed the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my assumptions. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I muted my mic. Sorry. Yeah, so captions. Should we have captions? Yeah, let's do it. I'll do them the same way I did for the other video. So this is a paid feature in DaVinci Resolve, for those wondering. And you see how much time this saves me. Like, I just do touch-ups here. Whereas if I didn't have this, I would need to go and make every single one of these text clips myself. And yeah, that'd be very tedious. So I'm not bad at some of these like video editing and music editing programs. Part of it has to do with the keyboard is never meant for like this style of keyboard. Like I can't easily press certain hotkeys that you should be able to press. But this is actually going smoothly enough. All right, so we're going to lower the size down to like 22. We're going to lower the entire track over to here. And then probably move my camera over to the side too so that I have even more space for the caption. Yeah, I think it's good. Then we change the sizing of this, set a height, get something that's 2 lines, and then get this to render correctly. It's too big for sure. I mean, that's about how much space we have. Okay, now let's take a look. So let's read the captions first. Let's just make sure their timing is good. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. Want to hyphenate that. Put that here. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game. Yeah, so I'm gonna rearrange some of these. Updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a... And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There... Ooh, this is too fast. Look at the video if you can't see this. Here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming. Bars there. There, perfect. Okay. 1700 shortcuts happening in 2 seconds. Now it's just chop, mouse, chop, chop, mouse, chop. Yeah. Although I don't know how you do that better because we have to go to the parts where there are vocalizations that I don't want. Maybe, well, there is an AI way of isolating voice. So yeah. Yeah, the editor keyboard, yeah, I've seen that. And it actually comes with DaVinci Resolve. So it's like saving $200 on the hardware if you want it. Fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine. So I'd like to customize this and make the whole thing semi-bold and just the word was italicized. Oh, but that reverts everything else. There's got to be a better way to do this, right? Oh, wait, I guess I really wanted semi-bold italic. Yeah, there. That looks great. Your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume... Okay. Natural to assume that this is... Assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case... it was actually due... due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless... Actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible... Something that's invisible unless you zoom into... Yeah. And then this, can we make this like totally bold here? I think that'd be nice. It's probably going to unbold everything else. Yep, of course it did. So we set this back to semi-bold. Is there even an obvious difference? Yeah, I guess so. Zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. crook of this W, we see the source spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to Yep, we're getting there. Sorry, I know this isn't the most exciting thing to watch. I need to do this. Fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve. Yeah, smooth curve instead of that spike, which gets exaggerated by the engine. Right. Got it. And that's it. Fix the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my assumptions. Just wanted to share this fun bug. Cool. Hey, Farles Barkley. Advanced text to make it appear at specific times. Yeah, and I've done that before, but I don't want to like have it show up word by word for this kind of video. I think it's more for when there's very little talking, then it might be nice to do that. Then again, I feel like you sort of have to appeal to the low attention span people nowadays and have every amount of animation and things happening on the screen. Still find new ones and wonder how I ever live without this. Yeah, and there are a lot of little tricks. Man, Fruity Loop Studio especially, like every modifier and every mouse button or mouse action is bound to something. Like you can zoom vertically, you can zoom horizontally, you can fit it to the screen, you can like play back audio. And if you don't know about any of those things, and keeping them in your head over the course of many years of occasional use is almost impossible. So it's like, yeah, professionals probably know that stuff and benefit from it. And for the rest of us, it's like, well, too bad. You're just going to forget it in between times using it. All right, so now I think we just watched the whole video. I think the whole thing's done. Let's see. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve instead of that spike, which gets exaggerated by the engine. And that's it. That fixed the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my assumptions. Oh, yeah, sorry, mute again. I appreciate that. And thank you too, Freak Technic. Yeah, I wanted to fix that. Okay, so the only thing that I noticed while I'm watching this is that it is a little bit strange to show this off the side of the screen. We would need to move where the footage is pointing, and we probably have, yeah, we have some space, but not a lot of wiggle room there. So I need to move this. To the game engine, right? Let's find the frame where it shifts. There. Okay, so we keyframe that and then keyframe this and move it to the side. So it looks like it was there the whole time. And then we simply copy this back and find the next frame. Actually, it never changes. So that's it. That's all we have to do. Now let's watch the video one more time. Here's a fun game dev puzzle. You just updated your game engine, and now all of a sudden, text that was rendering fine is rendering with these weird spikes on it. And for the sake of the video, if you can't see this, here's a zoomed in picture. There are these vertical bars coming off of the W here. It's natural to assume that this is due to the game engine, right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom. Wait. Actually due to the font. Where's that? Yeah, this could be split onto 2 lines. In fact, probably all of the ones that are like that should just be split onto 2 lines. Good. This one we don't really need to do that for. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Turns out in this case, it's actually the font. Good, good, good. That's... We could move this. All right, cool. All right, so where did I leave off here? Right? But it turns out in this case, it was actually due to the font, and it's something that's invisible unless you zoom into about 5,000%. Here, in the crook of this W, we see the source of the spike. Thankfully, the fix is very easy. We just need to rearrange these points such that they form a smooth curve instead of that spike, which is exaggerated by the engine. And that's it. That fixed the font problem. I just wanted to share this fun bug because it really made me question my... Okay, great. Y is a great label. Yeah, I like that. Because the letters that were broken were like D, V, W, W, Y, and something else. And I'm like, oh, what should I do for this? So yeah, I fit 2 of the letters there with a very short word and that related back to the video. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I think this is feeling pretty good. Let's go publish this one too. So this is font spikes. Browse to here. Optimize and render. Okay, so I'm going to go put them all on YouTube. YouTube. Upload video. And we want the goblin, font spikes, and sheet music. Okay, they're all uploaded now. And now we've got to find out, well, we got to edit the descriptions and everything. Let's go figure out what we're going to do for that. Try the demo for free. I'm just going to get some of the hashtags that I used. Whoops. Okay, so go back. Font spikes. Font spikes in Godot. All right, so this will do Godot. Godot. Game dev. Bugs. And fonts. Sure. All right, I found this problem while developing Skeleseller. Check it out here. The reason those spikes were there in the first place has to do with Illustrator. What's the, hang on, let me find out what the exact wording was for that. Here's what Quickie Joe had said. When I made the bold version, I had to do some weird path expansion and stuff with adding strokes in Illustrator so the font didn't grow in height, but was still bolder in all the right places. I think it messed up some of the corners. Okay, so how do we sum this up? Had to do with making the font bold in Illustrator. Here an expansion. Oh. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Hey, Katie. Hey, Axel. So many confused animal people are going to get this short. What? Yeah. Real bugs. Okay, that's what I thought you might have been saying, but I didn't know if it was a euphemism for something else. Hey, Franken. Font spikes in Godot, yeah. Oh yeah, the font editing tool I use in the video is Glypher Studio, which is free and open source. Cool. Okay, so we're good there. Now we use none of the above because I never use any of this stuff. Next, next, next. Okay, so can someone check out this video and tell me if the audio sounds weird on it and the process of making the font bold? Yeah, sure. I think it's fine. Audio sounds fine. Okay, good. Okay, now let's go get the other two videos. Sheet music. Sheet music shipped for free with a video game? Question mark, exclamation point. This is not a good title. But a cool bonus if you buy Skella Seller. Sheet music, game dev, indie game, freebies. It's not really a freebie. What else should I put here? I don't know. Let's just leave it at that for now. Okay, so I had originally composed all of the Skella Seller music on piano, but I never actually made sheet music at the time. This is just a fun extra for players to discover in the game folder. Check out Skella Seller here. Yeah, I'll just leave the Steam link. I think it's pretty reasonable what that's about. Sounds good. Okay, yeah. So some weird OBS thing that was going on. Okay. Next, none, submit. Cool. And then the final video. 10 out of 10. Thanks. Sneaky goblins in Skella Seller. Indie game. Easter eggs. Goblins. It's probably not a good hashtag to put. Game dev. Sure. Yet another Easter egg that I've added to Skella Seller. Oh yeah, Godot. That's a pretty good one to add. Thank you. Do you get revenue of shorts? Yeah. I don't think it's very much revenue. If we sort by... Oh, wait, we can't sort by revenue, can we? Well, anyway, this is my best performing short. If we look at the revenue of this, it's probably almost nothing. Yeah, like $2. And the best Skella Seller short was this one. It's about 7,000 views and it got 62 cents. So yeah, this is it. I'm not getting a lot of money from these. Then again, none of my content's getting a lot of money. If you look at my best video of all time, it's not a ton of views. Actually, it's a corn keyboard one. It's not bad. And this got 83 bucks. That's not bad because I only made this because I wanted to make it. I did not expect it to get 56,000 views. So yeah, getting 83 bucks to make a video, not too bad. Barely enough to get an ice cream. The reason shorts don't pay out very well is because you can show so many of them to people. In fact, I think they show you like engaged viewership versus non-engaged views. Yeah, engaged views. How many times viewers stay to watch past the initial seconds? Because so many people are like, okay, in the first 2 seconds, I might just, I don't know, been scratching my face or something and I couldn't scroll away. So yeah, the actual view count might look like it's higher than that. But as far as, yeah, it's like 1,000 higher, I guess. But in terms of ads, they just want to show ads to engage viewers. Okay. I just wanted to add some fun stuff to the game. There's more to discover and interact with as you're playing. Okay. Cool. Cool. So I want to make one of these public right now. Which one's the best one to make public? Probably the Goblin one. Or maybe the sheet music one. I don't think the sheet music one is going to do all that great. Oh, also, you can't edit thumbnails here, which is unfortunate. I got to do it from my phone. Give me a sec. So what should I use as a thumbnail for this? I see what I can't properly share my phone screen here. I mean, I could, but the odds of you seeing something personal would be very high. The font one, I think, is already a pretty decent thumbnail. Unless we got, you can't change it here, right? Yeah, you can only change it in the YouTube mobile app. Yeah. Yeah, unless we got the Y in there. Like, is that a better thumbnail? Aren't intended to be consumed by thumbnails anyway. Yeah, that's true. But if you see it in related videos from a long form video, the thumbnail will show up. Kind of want to use this. No, I'll do this stuff later. Yeah, I'll do this later. Because I don't want to waste your time if I can't show this on screen. Afternoon, let's put this here and say change thumbnails of YouTube videos. The one thing I will do right now is change. Well, how about this? Let's vote on which short I should release. Because I want to do like one per day. So which short should Adam release first? The sheet music, the goblin one, or the font spikes one? Yeah. It'll boost some of the new views. Yeah. Changing the title could potentially do that too. All right. So what are people voting for? Goblin, font spikes. No one's voting for the sheet music one. No, one person did. I was going to say, how are people going to find out about this? You never noticed? So I got that popsicle a long time ago. Like, I don't know, 18 years ago or something like that. And I just thought it was hilarious. I took a picture of it. Since then, my wife drew a vector art version of it. Or I think it was vector art at least, that I could expand any size. And that's the one I'm using now. All right, so the goblin one, I'm just going to say is the winner, even though it hasn't finished. So let's make this live. So, okay, this I will modify the thumbnail of. Let me edit this. Because it should actually have a goblin in the picture, right? There. Okay. Done and save. Oh, it does not leave the screen when you save. Nice. Okay, so the thumbnail should be updated here. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. You can do it, YouTube. Not going to do it. Let's try reloading. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's make this public. And then everyone should go watch this. Okay, and then publish shorts on TikTok. All right, well, that was pretty good. I am very happy that we did that. I think we should probably pivot into some actual development, but I don't want to do too much. Yeah, I think I want to take the afternoon to email press. Email press. I'm not leaving just yet. Edited 3 shorts for YouTube/TikTok. Thanks for watching it. Yeah, so what did people think in terms of this as stream content? I don't often make videos, but it would be a lot easier to edit this if I were streaming it, because it's nice to have company for a task that's so boring. But this would not be mainstay content or anything. Like I said, I just don't make that many videos. Also, the reason this was so easy is because those recordings were very clean. If I had, let's say, stuttered at one point, or I didn't record the right thing in the frame, then yeah, I would have needed to re-record. And I don't know how I do that while I'm streaming. So that might be tough. But if it's like a 20-minute video, then you can always just mark it down for later to re-record. Then again, I like wearing the same shirt and having the same like facial hair length. Continuity. All right, so let's change the title of the stream to, what is it? 13 days until launch. And then let's add the programming tags again. I see so many streamers not do this, and I don't know why I bother. Does anyone care? Godot engine. There we go. I'm not going to change it on YouTube because... Actually, should I change it on YouTube? Yeah, I should probably change it on YouTube. It changes it for the whole video. Live. All right, let's just copy the same thing I had over here. Did some video editing in the first half, then worked through the backlog in the latter half. Cool, save. You can open the title edit thing in OBS. Yeah, I knew that for Twitch. For YouTube, I don't use Restream or anything, so I don't think it's connected there. Rarely look at the left half of my screen. I use the tags on Twitch once in a blue moon when I'm looking for a new person. Yeah, I use the tags quite a lot because I used to watch a lot of video game playthroughs, and I cared very much about it being someone's first playthrough and ideally it being a blind playthrough. There are a lot of people who abuse these tags, and it made it really unpleasant for me to find streams like that. Because I'd be watching someone and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what they think of this part of the game. And then they're like, oh yeah, I've seen this before when I played this as a kid. And I'm like, it's not your first playthrough then. That's how that works. Okay, so backlog. Let's see. We've got backlog stuff all over the place. I've got a bunch of performance things here too. Let's get this out of here. Okay. CV preferred? Yeah. Well, are you liking Unity? Issues. All right, what are we on in terms of branch and just status? Let me take a look off screen for a second. Okay, yeah. I have this note here, update sheet music. So I'm really grateful to PG King for helping with this. I sent them the sheet music, and where is the sheet music? And they left a bunch of suggestions, and I made some kind of embarrassing minor mistakes. And then some more complicated mistakes, I guess. Oh, that shouldn't be there. Oh, no. What is that doing there? Oh, man. Is that in the other one too? No. All right, let me go export this again. Thankfully, this doesn't take very long. And it's not like anyone had this, right? What did I use? I used Sibelius first. What kind of mistakes? Like incorrect rhythmic notation, incorrect key signature. What else? Yeah, incorrect use of accidentals in some places. There we go. In fact, that shouldn't be there either, right? Yeah, there. All right, save. And let's publish that again. Print, use OS dialog. All right, I'm not going to look through rest. I just happen to notice that one. If anyone else notices anything, they can just tell me about it. But I don't think anyone's going to look through any of this. You mean mistakes that are smaller? Do you mean mistakes that are in the key of minor mistakes? Yeah, mistakes that are smaller. That's a good joke. All right, so I think we're going to close a lot of these rather than actually tackle them. What is this? Make sure tags are correct. Jasmine is just the way it's designed. Then we should almost certainly add roguelike as a tag. Okay, so I had this written down a while ago. Skeleseller is half roguelike, but it's the latter half of the game, which I think means that people are going to be frustrated if they buy the game based on that tag and then realize, like, wait a second, you got to play for like 4 hours before you get to that point. Hey, Boolean. It's half-like. Half-like 3. So, yeah. I don't think we do this then. Yeah. I don't think this is a good idea. People who buy the game because they assume the whole thing is a roguelike will probably be displeased and then maybe leave bad reviews rather than play the whole game to find out the part that is a roguelike. This is kind of tricky though. Like what does someone expect from I'm trying to think of a game that does something like this. I guess any game with mini games. Like don't the Yakuza games have a bunch of mini games in them? So you could kind of say they're a racing game or they're a puzzle game or something, but they're not really. That's not how you'd categorize it, right? But that's different. Is there a game where half of it is one genre and half of it is a different genre? I guess even Skeletor doesn't really change in genres. And I guess a lot of older games had like a single player campaign and a multiplayer like add-on almost. Like Star Fox 64. The bulk of that was playing through single player. And then, yeah, sure, they had a battle mode or whatever for your friends, but it wasn't like there was tons of content there. I guess a better example is probably Donkey Kong 64. There was what like 30 hours of single player content and then the multiplayer stuff was just tacked on. It's a gameplay loop description. Sure, but I mean in terms of what customer expectations are. Hey Fox, get this guy off me. One of my friends loves quoting Star Fox 64. He knows like all of the lines. A Star Domination. Anyway, so what would you market Donkey Kong 64 as? Probably just the main thing, right? It's an adventure game. It's a collectathon. I don't know. Yeah, you probably wouldn't say it's like a mini game. Well, I guess it had mini games in the single player thing, but yeah. Fix key signature and bar lines in one spot. Half card battler, half persona like social game. Great game. Are the halves intertwined? Because the way I look at it with Skeleseller is you could split it up into the first like 4 hours maybe, and then the last 4 hours. And here it's just like idle-ish incremental. And then here it's like idle-ish incremental played as a roguelite. Because there are a lot of games where I feel like even in the Pokemon trading card game, like you're walking around in the overworld, you're collecting cards and stuff, and then you get into battles. So it's kind of like those two games are interleaved. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to do this. Plus, the ones who buy it not expecting a roguelike probably just be happy to... I'll just close this. Okay, that's done. So what else? Also, how's that short doing? Analytics. 209 views. My goodness. All right, cool. I mean, the real thing we should be looking at is not that, but the activation report. Like how many people today. So 5 people have claimed the demo today. That number has not gone up since my break that I took, which was an hour ago. So no one new has gotten the demo. By the way, this is what I consider partially a problem. I don't know what I would think if I saw a game on Steam and I saw that it's launching very soon and that it has a demo. Would I be like, yeah, I'll try the demo? Yeah, I probably would. I think I'd want to make sure I like the game. Hey, Couch. Are you going to fit the battle pass and microtransactions in the last 13 days? Oh, we'll find a way. In between coding equipment and adding experience points and prestiging and 10 new adventurers. These are just easy, like knock them out in 10 minutes kinds of features. Yeah, I think I'd prefer to do most things on release. 2 scenarios where we wouldn't do it are camera drag and item dragging. So this is probably not an important issue. How does most of this work? If you click assign, it's when you let go. Actually, that's how everything has to work because of the camera dragging. We don't know that you've clicked this thing yet until we can detect whether you've dragged. So what am I... What's the problem here? Huh, what is the problem? I filed this so long ago. I think back then we might have had an issue that was more obvious, but now I can't tell what it would be. Maybe crops or something? No, it can't be crops. Yeah, it's not crops. The fishing pond? No. NPCs? No. Spell books? It can't be any of this stuff, right? Oh yeah, none of this seems to be a problem. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, Kevin. I don't think there are any remaining places in the world where in the like town at least where mouse down does something. This is very likely because we had to accommodate dragging the camera and items. I guess it could be in the UI and other spots. So like clicking this is mouse down. Skill buttons work on mouse down. What is everything else mouse down? No, that's mouse up. What if we had different adventurers? That's mouse down. Selecting adventurers works on mouse down. Probably over here too. Yeah. I think that's okay. Probably, yeah, I don't really have an issue with this. That's just a regular button. Those are buttons though. So skill icons and probably perk icons, yeah. Yeah, the pond have a skeleton randomly swimming in it. Perhaps if you kill a certain boss or something like that. Would a skeleton be able to swim? Bone density is such that... Okay, I'm going to search this. Do bones float? Bones can float or sink depending on their density and composition. Generally, they have a density greater than that of water. So we could just say that they're swimming at the bottom of the pond. Yeah, we would probably need graphics for that if we were to do that. And it might look like a bug if we don't have graphics because we just have their walking animation. You're on the FBI watch list. Well, only because my following search was how to dispose of a body. But that was off screen, so they'd never know, right? So any other parts of the UI? I'm probably not going to do anything about this, so I don't know why I'm even looking. Yeah, and those are probably the main things. Anyway, this isn't worth doing. Maybe if people complained about it, which I don't see happening. It's just not an issue, right? Like if it's a skill point, you put in the wrong skill because you didn't realize it worked on mouse down. You just click the minus button down here and now put it in the right skill. So it's not like, oh my God, I broke my build and I committed to some permanent decision. Nothing's permanent. Dragging a potion to the slime's perks opens the perks board. Okay. If we have time for another Easter egg, I want to add in the bird that you can cook in the chef's slime. I think it's a lot of work for one tiny little joke. Hey, Shine. Welcome back. All right, what do we got? What do we got? So drag a potion to the slime's perks board. So I put this over here. So, and that happens for any perks board, but it's only really a problem for the slimes one. What's this? Invalid UID for the goblin. All right, we'll need to upgrade that later. My no skill points reset challenge is ruined. Well, you're the one who's ruining it then, Bluff. Keep the bug fixing fun. I don't know what people are going to ask for the most. Like, I've got that issue over here. This one. About here are some things we can do if the game is doing well. And I think the biggest one is just get it to launch in East Asian markets. And then I think the ones that actually impact like players who already had the game. Leaderboards might be fun, a daily run or something like that. Maybe some more achievements. But I don't have any like huge ideas here. There's probably gonna be someone out there who's like, I want multiplayer, I want different towns, I want. It's like, yeah, maybe we could do different towns, but multiplayer is never gonna happen. I just don't think this game is conducive to being multiplayer. Let's close out of DaVinci Resolve here. And this. By the way, update, I said this on Discord, but JetBrains did agree to sponsor me, essentially. So I think they've probably already done it. I haven't checked my email, but I think they shared a year-long license for me and have offered to let me share 12 licenses for individual IDEs to the community. So I think it's really nice. I will probably spend a stream at some point after launch, like just configuring the IDE so that it looks exactly how I want. Who sponsored? JetBrains, the company behind this IDE. I'd been using the performance tools before, and I reached out to them and I said, look, like, I think this is a good setup. This is not just this, hey, I want money kind of thing. It was like I use this product and other people watch me use the product. Hey, Amrox. So yeah, I have to look into this. I think I'm still on the trial version right now because I didn't do anything. Yeah, licensed to trial user. Which product am I using? Well, I'm just using Rider right now, and then the dot trace and dot memory tools that come with it. But I'll probably explore like their AI offering. Maybe I could replace Copilot and save myself some money there. I don't know. Do you have plans for point shop things? That is the kind of thing I would probably do afterward. I think that's part of Steam Market, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that could be kind of neat to do. Okay, so how do we stop this? You click a perks board, which is in the recycler scene. Oh, everything's like blurry here because I had changed this for a short. And how do you function? Left click released, on clicked. We probably have some like open perks over here. Yep, open perks. How does that work? Here it is. So something should disallow this if you're holding an item. What would be responsible for this? I mean, we could just do it for the recycler one. Yeah, it's not even that hard, right? I could just say if town.player, was it capitalized? Town.player held item is holding item. Return. Or just put a not here. And then what is this? Just property? Yeah. Okay, that's it. I think that's all we have to do here. Because I don't think you're ever going to be dragging an item when you're going down near like where the farm is or the fishing pond. And if you are, sure, maybe you mean to open it. But it's not a common scenario. Dragging an item to the garbage line is a common scenario. That's its whole purpose. And its perks board is so close to it. In fact, you know what we could do? We could, let me try this. So now, yeah. So now you can't activate this unless you, well, you can't activate it at all, actually. Okay, I don't know about that. Maybe it's only when you let go of the mouse. Left click released. Oh, it's always left click released though. I have to know if this was the left click. Oh man, it's not gonna be easy to do, is it? Yeah, I think the tools are good. And I think for any kind of payment that you do, it's always a question of will you get value from it? So like, let's say you get Netflix to watch a couple of movies. It's like, okay, that's probably worthwhile. Or maybe you think it's worthwhile depending on the price. But then if you keep the subscription for 3 months afterward and don't watch anything, then obviously that wasn't a very good price because you paid quadruple for those 2 movies. What if you can convert the Adam NPC to a skeleton to help you in town? How would you do that? Wouldn't you like feed him poison? I think how you get there is potentially important. Because no matter how you frame it, you're basically you're killing the developer of the game. Click him too many times, skin just sloughs off the body. Hey, Kojan. Whether it's a secret skeleton that turns into a bottom. But I do think that'd be kind of cool. Actually, one of the Easter eggs I want to add still, and maybe we do this sometime soon, although it's not important until December, is to change the NPCs into. Hang on, let me find this. This would have been better if I could pull up the picture at the same time I was talking about this. All right, so check this out. We have a graphic here with Santa and a bunch of elves. And I was thinking, if you play the game on December 25th, it should change all the customer sprites to these, but not tell you anything about it. It just happens. And then the Santa graphic would be me. So I'm dressed up as Santa, except for my eyes are not blue. But we'll just ignore that. So yeah, this is a nice little Easter egg that I think would be cool to do. It's not even that hard to do. Maybe we do it today. Yeah. Oh, it's like way ahead of time. Add elves and Santa. If it's 12:25. All right. So yeah, what do I want to do about this thing though still? I think I want you to be able to click this and just not in one smooth motion click this. What if we extended the garbage slimes drop zone? Would that be good enough? In fact, why did I do this? Why don't I just make this big? And then there's no problem, right? I can delete this. I don't know if this is going to work. Any Konami code Easter egg in the game? Hey, Pickle, I don't want to do a Konami code Easter egg. I feel like they're kind of played out. There was a time when it was sort of more prominent. Like Facebook had one and some websites had one. And yeah. Plus, those are the kinds of things that very few people would discover. I like Easter eggs that if you're paying attention, you can find. Like even the thing about including sheet music in the game, I'm not like I'm not super happy with that. I think there should be something in the game telling you about this. And I like Dark's idea of like a sheet music thing can drop and now you know that this exists. So yeah. All I want is to misclick them less often. So let's see. If I drag over to here now. Yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I think you would expect to have happen. So that was a dead simple fix. Let's go check that in. And I'm going to say that it fixes this issue. Expand garbage slimes drop zone. Is this ever a problem? Only if there's a customer who wants an item, and I think they take priority. How do they take priority, though? Customer. Clicked customer. You need to handle this case specially since we only care about one scenario. When a customer desires an item and you drag exactly that item to them, why is this here? Okay, we should probably test this. Snow particles. Yeah, I don't have a Santa hat graphic for the garbage slime though. I do think it'd be kind of cool, but this is a 1 day a year Easter egg. This is the kind of thing I want to put very low effort into. Because for one, if the game dies out, no one's going to be playing it on Christmas. All right, what was I going to do? I was going to go change seek specific item. I guess can seek. Let's check this in first. Well, no, we can't necessarily do that. All right, so can seek return true. And chance to seek. Let's set this to 1000%. And then the actual item that they seek will be return item ID dot. It's got to be something I can get. So small blue potion. Okay, there. So now customers will desire items. And hopefully they walk near the garbage slime and I can test which takes priority. I think I've tried this out before. I don't recall what the results were though, which is why we're doing this. So I just speed this up. Customers should want, yep, there we go, small blue potions, which we then add, and I hold here, and we wait for one to come over to the garbage slime. Come on, walk right over here. Hey, nice. Okay, that seems like it worked. What about down here? Okay, that might have been a coincidence. Okay, yeah, it looks like we're giving it to the customer first. That would make sense if they are lower in the scene tree, which would be done in town scene, I think. Customers are below the recycler. There's a recycler. Oh, and buildings. Yeah, nice. Okay, yeah, this is working great. Cool, cool, cool. Fixes this. Also, customers still take priority as a result of being farther down the scene tree. So this shouldn't cause any side effects. Okay, that is done. So what else do we have here? Allow Alt Enter to enter full screen. I think F11 might be better. I don't really care about doing this. That's all. No, let's just skip that one for now. Improve contrast of skill tables in challenge mode. Did I ever address this? I honestly don't remember what it looks like right now. Oh, I should take a break pretty soon. All right, what does this look like? Yeah, it still looks the same. Okay, well, let me take a break really fast. I gotta pace myself. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Close the game. And hey, Joseph. I said close the game. Close it. Why is my computer not listening? Okay, there we go. So what do we do about this, if anything? And is this the only place where this shows up? Or is it over here too? No, I think it's only over here. I mean, we could just change the color, but what color do we change it to? And what even shows this? Town perk choice UI? There's some like get tooltips somewhere. Description label. Where do we set this? Choice get description. Here it is. Where is this coming from? Here, great. I can just make a save file here. Hey, Mr. D-Boy. Hey, you launch tomorrow, right? Did I make a command for you? I did not. Oh, boy, I should do that. Yes, sir. How you doing? Ball of stress, I'm guessing. Mr. D-Boy made Mr. Farm Boy. There we go. Wait. That's weird. I'm surprised Steam doesn't put the leaving early access at the upper right. Huh. I get that it was already launched, and that's probably why they don't do that, but it feels like for early access games, they should put it right below here. Yeah. Trying to cope as much as I can. Yeah, sorry, I'm probably not helping. I mean, like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? I'm 13 days away, and I'm feeling good right now. I've been putting in a lot of extra time. And yesterday I emailed probably somewhere between like 50 and 60 people. And I think 3 or 4 people responded already, but that was it. And I'm hoping like, okay, of the remaining, whatever that is, maybe 45, let's say, that yeah, another hopefully 10 or 15 respond, and then I need to follow up, and maybe I get another 10 or 15 out of that. But yeah, disappointing. At almost 1K. 1K what? Oh, email sent out? Oh man, that's crazy. How are you finding new people? Like, I find that going from 0 people on the list to email to, let's say, 100 is very easy, right? Then going from 100 to 200 is like, it's a lot harder, but not impossible. And then going like 200 onward is just very difficult. So yeah, I don't know how to like find new people anymore. I guess I haven't exhausted all the potential Twitch streamers. One of the issues I have though is you look at someone's concurrent viewership, and if it's less than like 30, it's probably just not worth reaching out to that person, because over the course of an hour, that means they're probably gonna have like 100 or 200 views. Like, would I reach out to a YouTuber who had 100 or 200 views? Like, I do sometimes, but I find that with Twitch streamers, it's almost harder to convince them. They're not like paying attention to just the game, so they get sidetracked and they get like annoyed or confused. And streamers are hard. Yeah. I have not tried TikTok yet. I should probably do that. And in fact, some people have shared some. Yeah, maybe I should do that today. People on TikTok. It's gonna be hard to like keep them in a spreadsheet. Can't think of it that way though, because one small streamer can spiral into big ones if given the chance. I mean, technically anyone could, but it's all based on reach. Like, you could argue that it's worth reaching out to YouTubers who have like 30 views, but it just probably isn't. Also, please do be mindful. I know you're stressed out, but there is still a rule in this chat. I'll try not to segment messages. Okay, so we have this, and something in here changes the color of this. By the way, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. Just like I said, we have a tiny thing here. I mentioned Kiboga. Yeah. I've talked to him about it, and he might play it on stream. I'm not sure. On Hi Rimo. I was just thinking about you because I was playing some D2 last night after all the emailing and I saw that you were online and wow. I don't know if you've been playing Midnight, but do you have a house? All right, so the thing is, I don't know where this is. And I know we have like a form table somewhere that we could look up. Highlight color, that's what I want. Where is that? It's not always the same, right? Linen? Wait, it is always the same? Oh God, this might be difficult then. Are these the same colors and they just don't look the same because of the backgrounds? Where's the other one? Oh, they are the same color. I think it's still hard to tell. I'll just take a picture of this now. FB, F0, E6. Yeah, they're the same. Okay, I thought they were different colors because when they're against different backgrounds, they look like they are. And then I was wondering where that code was to change it, but that code doesn't exist. They're just the same color. Up late getting level 90? Wow. Well, he must have been having fun then. Small MMO streamer played an indie MMO, made a video, blew up. Then all big streamers play that MMO, Dreadmist. So, yeah, I guess what I'm torn on is that I do think it's a numbers game. So technically, anyone who gets more than 0 views could be worthwhile. Technically, even the people who get 0 views could be worthwhile because they could still talk about the game afterward. But yeah, you have limited resources to reach out to these people. Plus, that's an example of one person who ended up blowing up. But like, how many counter examples are there that we just never hear about? Like, if I reach out to 1,000 small YouTubers and they get no success, then it means that your odds of success are like 1 out of 1,001 because of that one person's example. But like, how many people did that person reach out to as well? What if the pump was primed from the YouTube algorithm suggesting it from the bigger influencers or something? I don't know. Yeah. So it's like if you could just mass email everybody, like yeah, I'd add them to the list. But I try customizing this and everything. All right, so it's that linen color that we're using. So let's say we just change this to aqua, which is probably very bright. But let's see what it would look like in this table. Yeah, yeah, and I'm not claiming that you should have all the answers here or something. I think that's why for me reaching out to Twitch streamers is a little bit worse. Also because like I said, if you're streaming on any platform, then you're paying a little bit less attention to the game. And I've seen people get confused when that happens of like, oh, what am I doing here? And they almost get like bored of the game faster because they're not paying attention. All right, so I entered the wrong mode here. I want this mode and I want to see, yeah. So we could make this more obvious. In order to do that though, we need to be able to specify the color that we use. The color can't be known in here, but whatever calls this could potentially know it. Where do we do this? It's just in each ability, isn't it? And this doesn't have the town or anything. And I want to pass in a highlight color through every single ability ever. I assume you bought the expansion for D2R. How do you feel about it? I had fun. I thought it was pretty good. I played through with a friend. We both played Warlocks, and it was pretty nice. We then like beat the game, just the two of us, and I went back to some old characters that I had. So every time I quit, I give every item I own away. So I have a bunch of like naked characters afterward, basically. And I had like a level 99 sorceress. I've been trying to gear her up, and it's like way harder than I think it should be. So I'll probably get bored of it again pretty soon and then just stop playing. But like I had fun. I think it was worth it. Hey Toulouse, I don't know how you stay so focused. I mean, I'm talking about Diablo as you say that I'm staying focused. But yeah, it is easy to get distracted. I think it's probably easier when you're playing a video game too, because you're not necessarily trying to be productive. All right, so do we go change every single ability in the game? It's not even necessarily abilities, is it? No, they're perks. So you'd have to look at something like speed of workers. Yeah, here. And this just calls form skill table. Yeah, okay, so this is the problem, right? This doesn't even know that this is for the sake of challenge mode. Oh, boy. Yeah, we can't just tell that you're in bone mode. Because we don't know, are you looking at something here or are you looking at something here? And depending on where you're looking at it, the color should change. So we need to have the context passed into this. There's no other way for us to do this. Well, there's one other way, but it's really stupid, which is to replace the color linen with a new color, but then we're making a new string altogether. Calling me distracted. I just get such a kick out of that emote being there. Hey, Lion. Wish it wasn't so expensive. It looks awesome. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily worth the price. I think it was worth playing again is what I was trying to say. Because I have played Diablo 2 again a lot. And sometimes they make a new patch where they're like, hey, we changed a couple of abilities. And I play through and I'm like, it's just not a big enough change. But Warlock felt like a pretty big change. Also, it seems like a pretty powerful class. Okay, so yeah, in order to change this, we would need to funnel this through everywhere to give some context. So every single place that this ability is defined, which is all over. Like if I just search for this, we have how many of them? 174. So I need to modify every single one of those 174 locations. So we only really have a couple of realistic options for how to accomplish this. The best, most straightforward one is to modify this. That's not even on my clipboard. Modify this such that the caller can pass in the context of where we're showing this, or just pass in the highlight color directly. All right, so the issue is that, let me back up again for this. I'll twitch that. Oh, whoops, I didn't update the today command, did I? Adam got done making some short form videos. Can I copy this? There we go. Okay, as long as I'm... One is live now. And is now working through the task backlog. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if you said you already decided on a price. How long is a playthrough, you reckon? I am pricing it at $15 with a 15% launch discount. And a playthrough is probably about like 4 to 5 hours for story mode, and then probably another like 4 to 5 hours for bone mode. Yeah, about 8 to 10 hours. I think people are probably going to complain about the price. But I don't know. I'm doing a bunch of other little things to help offset that. I'm going to make the soundtrack free. I made a bunch of sheet music that I put into the game files. So if people want to play that, they can. This is like a stupid thing to spend my time on. And then I've been adding nice little like delightful touches to the game. So yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. Okay, so the issue is that we use this. What was your previous game? Botland? This one? This is not playable anymore, although it is getting open sourced. All right, so Linen shows up here. Yeah. The issue is that we define the highlight color in a single location as what, a constant? Yeah, as... Then we use it regardless of the context. Options. Option 1 would be have the caller replace that color with a different one. This is super fast to develop, but it involves allocating a 2 strings for every tooltip, although we could cache them. Option 2 is change this so that it takes in context or a highlight color. There are 175 instances of this function. So it would take more development time, but it's free from a performance. Well, it's basically free for performance / allocation perspective. Right, because this is just getting plugged in anyway, isn't it? Where is this? Yeah. We get the highlight color, we put it in here. Yeah. So that's gonna be the same regardless. What's option 3? Option 3, change the colors or the backgrounds so that there's one set of colors that works for everything. Was it popular? When did you release it? It says it was says when it was discontinued. I launched in like 2019. I don't recommend reading this whole thing, but if you want, you can read the post-mortem on it here. Was it popular though? Not really, no. I think we had like 20 to 30,000 account signups, but it was a free game, so that didn't really mean anything. And yeah, not a lot of like super active players. We get bored if it takes too long, which results in negativity. Yeah, I don't think they'll get bored because I think there's enough momentum with different systems that get introduced. Like the first 2.5 hours is a solid amount of change to the game. And then the next hour and a half or 2 hours is like it's letting those systems shine and not necessarily introducing too much new stuff. Although that's why we've been adding some of this new stuff. Like I'll show this video on stream right now really fast. Okay. Yeah, so let me just show this and mute my mic. As long as I'm ruining every Easter egg in Skeleseller, here's one I just added that I think is really fun. Once you beat the dragon, a sneaky goblin can show up in your town. They tend to hide behind trees, so they're very difficult to spot, but once they start walking, they're quite apparent because they're the only green townsperson. When you click them, they'll drop a couple of items which you could then sell. This feature is just for fun. If you hadn't seen this video and then played through Skeleseller and never... Anyway, so like that sort of thing, you might be 3 hours into the game and you're like, whoa, what's that goblin doing there? And then you click it and you're like, oh, cool, that's nice. And now you're looking for it and it just changes your mindset a little bit. I think those are nice little distraction features almost. Hey, Keshu. 15 does sound like a lot. It's only 2 away from Factorio. What's your reasoning for the price? It's a combination of things. For one, it is like 2 years of full-time work went into this. So there is the input consideration. And then in terms of gameplay, having like 10 hours of gameplay for $15 or so, I think it's pretty reasonable. Like, I think this would have cost $10 years ago because I think there's generally like a $1 for about 1 hour of gameplay, but like inflation has happened. So I think of it that way. I think it's unfair to compare almost any game to Factorio or Minecraft or like Stardew Valley. These are games that people just end up playing for such a ludicrous number of hours that you can't really consider the cost to number of hours when making another game's price. Or else even like Mario Kart couldn't be released. Well, Mario Kart's different. But you get the idea, right? Like some AAA games that maybe you play through and the storyline's only like 10 or 15 hours. So yeah, I don't think you can pick like some of the most extreme examples as a gauge for that. Plus, even if you did do that, I mean, there are some extreme examples of even Skeleseller, which I find this kind of crazy. But if you look at the median time played, like 103 people have spent more than 20 hours in the game. So I don't know. There's still some people who got a lot of value out of the. Wait, what even is this? Is this a demo? Yeah, this is the demo. People somehow maybe they just left it running or something. I don't know. But there's like enough. Some people played for 12 to 13 hours. I mean, yeah, there's several hundred people who played for more than 5 hours for the demo. Now, that might have been several playthroughs. It might have been they left it running. I don't know. I don't have that insight. But yeah, I think that could potentially happen here too. I think of it as $15 for a few hours of entertainment. That seems reasonable. Yeah. Well, approaching 20,000 wish lists, not very quickly approaching. We're at like just barely over 12,000 now, I think. Yeah. This has not been rising very quickly. If you look at the last 2 weeks, in fact, I don't think it's been rising at all. Yeah. It's, well, I see more down here than up. But yeah, the lowest point was 21, I guess. I'm really hoping this rises, though, as it goes up on popular upcoming. But yeah, I still don't really have any idea how this is going to do. All right, well, I think if we found a color, this might be worth doing. Or sorry, option 2 might be worth doing. I think option 2 is the best option here. So let's do this. Yeah, let's find a color. You know what I'd love? I would love for there to be a way for me to change this. Oh, you know what we could do? We could get exactly what I love, which is we could change this to just print it out. Hello, sb.toString. Good. There's another way we could do this, I guess, that's really cheap and very much cheating. We could set a static string. I'm not going to do this. I'm not even going to say the rest of this. Genuinely, a couple hours doesn't all sound reasonable. I wonder is a regional pricing difference. I think it all depends on what you're comparing it to. I think if you're comparing within gaming, that yeah, I think getting like 2 hours of game for $15 is probably not great. But what's kind of crazy to me is this is pretty much how movie pricing works, at least in the US. Like you get about 2 hours of a movie and you pay probably minimally $12. And same thing, if you consider like coffee, like the average coffee in the area that I live in is probably in the $5 to $6 range now. So it's like, oh, 3 coffees, which I know you don't compare it to how long does it take you to drink a coffee, but that's what, 15 minutes of coffee drinking for $15. I don't even operate this way, so I'm not saying this is how gamers think in general. I think the real problem here, and I talk about this so much, I'm not going to go on a soapbox here again, but game dev economics are the floor to enter game dev is lower and lower with just game engines being out and now with AI, and the number of good games is increasing and the number of long games is increasing. So for example, you look at League of Legends or World of Warcraft. These games came out, well, I don't know when League of Legends came out, but World of Warcraft came out in like 2004. This is not what I meant to search for. League of Legends came out in 2009. Yeah, so it's like, okay, you could have been playing this game for 17 years at this point. And a lot of people have played this game for 17 years at this point. And they're not necessarily looking for a new game. So yeah, this is another thing that keeps happening that I just think really shifts things away from the favor of game developers. Number of AI slop is increasing. Yeah. Because I mean, AI slop I don't think was a thing before. Well, it wasn't a thing in any reasonable capacity before LLMs got as popular as they are. Like, I think in 2015 you would have seen asset flips, but not AI slop. Someone who scale seller usually sees $6 to $10 games. That's why I was surprised. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think people are probably going to complain. I think it's tough because if you think about it from my perspective, it's like, okay, I could list the game at $8, let's say, and now I need to sell twice the number of copies. And I'll share this video for where I'm sourcing what I did here, but in one part of this video, and I didn't show. Let me mute this. In one part of this video, I talk about the money side of things. And where's the little calculation that I do? Yeah, so wait for it. Okay, there. So yeah, this is the minimum wage where I live. And this is the number of copies of Scala Seller I need to sell at $15 to get that minimum wage for the amount of time I spent doing this. And that's a lot of copies, right? So now if I sold it at half the price, I'd have to sell 17,000 copies to get minimum wage. And it's like, look, do I think it's reasonable that I'm going to sell 8,000? I have no idea. But there's only so much I'm willing to lower the price I know gamers don't think that way. They're just going to see the result and be like, well, here's what I would have paid for this. It's like, okay, yeah, then probably it's not the game for you. And maybe market pressure causes me to lower the price. That could totally happen. All right, so we do this. I can get this in here. Yeah. I think part of it just comes down to gamers. Gamers generally want a lot and just expect a lot. Okay, so I add a rich text label in here, paste that. Okay, so now we have a way of seeing what this looks like. I need this to be inside of a tooltip though, so I should probably just open up the tooltip thing. Let's just paste that in. Tooltip. Where is editable children, label, and paste. Cool. So now what we can do is we can change that aqua color to something else. Where's aqua in here? I can't see it. There it is. So what color would look good? Wait, what's going on right now? Oh, I have it in 2 cells. Oh, it's going to be annoying. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. All right, well, let's just delete it from here then. Transparent. And let's just set it in this one. So we want something. What color is linen, first of all? C# colors linen. Color.linen. FAF0E6. So this is what we had. Trying to load this up there. So that's what we had. And we want it to stand out a little bit more. We can't really lighten it that much before it's just white. Although that already is not too bad. I just raised the E to an F there. Oh, wait a second. This is the wrong background, isn't it? No, this one is totally fine. Okay, my bad. We need to do this on the other background. So let's go load up Town Choice UI. It is this, but it's inside of a panel tab. This isn't going to work, is it? What is this gray doing here? I guess I just delete this, or we just get the other theme here. Microsoft banned Microslot. I did not hear about that. I don't think so, at least. I dislike the view of holding indie games a higher standard price. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. D-Boy, I remember you telling me about that. Their reviews were negative and they said lower the price. Yeah. I don't know. It just is a shame that this stuff happens. So I am curious what people say about Skeleseller. I don't know what they'll say. We'll have to see. About trying to sell a lot of copies and go viral like Vampire Survivors did. This is something that every game dev is trying to do or would like to have happen, but it's not something you can force. Virality is not something you can count on. And I think even trying to tip the scales in your favor at this point, it's like enough people are also trying to do this. So yeah, if I knew ahead of time, hey, we're gonna have 5 million sales, I might price the game lower. It's not like I'm trying to be greedy with the money I am making here. It's that like I think minimum wage is at least a good baseline to aim for in terms of success of the game. And by the way, that's because the budget for this game was $500. Imagine if I had spent like $20,000 on the game. Like now the amount of money I'd have to make would go up by even more, right? Another like 2,000 sales or something. Hey, Mappa, maybe adding a border would be better than changing the highlight color. Yeah, that could potentially work too. I think we can do that. First, let me set this up because I'm doing a shoddy job at this. So we need to figure out where that thing is. Paper stack subtheme on what? A tab container? Can I just delete all the tabs from here? Yes, I can. Although I guess it's just a white background at that point, right? Is it? Oh, yeah, I think it's just pure white. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. It is. Okay, so everything I've been doing has been completely pointless. I could have just changed this to be white. Theme. Can we revert this? Clear. Clear. Okay, and then we change. Actually, I didn't even need to do that. I could have just changed the panel containers theme. Style box flat and set it to white. As soon as I figure out why I can't click this thing. What is going on with that you can't customize this? Huh. Strange. Yeah, that's strange. Is it because I'm modifying? No, yeah, what is going on here? I don't think I've seen this. Can I just say make local to scene? Because if I can do that, then I guess we're just fine here. Make local. Now I should be able to change this, right? Yes, now I can. Cool. Indie game dev and its economics are super rough. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Also, a lot of games that launched at what is now a reasonable price, they didn't start with as much content as they have. And then sales allowed them to make more content. That granted, I don't have a bunch of like content plans for Skeleton Seller. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hey, Appleseed. All right, so now we're finally back to this, and we can try changing this. I guess we just want this to be a darker color, right? Like this. Yeah, but probably a little bit fun. So maybe like a bit more blue. Maybe lower that even more. And then lighten the blue. Yeah, anyway, something like this. So if we wanted to do this, I mean, picking the color is one problem we have to solve, which is probably not that hard. And then the next problem we have to solve is changing every single color. So do I want to do that? Because I guess that's our other option, is just say, this isn't the problem. I kind of want to do it. Do we have a picture of the original thing here? Yeah, we do. Yeah, it just doesn't stand out a lot. Okay, well, let's see how hard it'd be to change this. So anywhere that I have format table, or I guess just this, right? It's more for perks. It's not for getting it for entities. Player, worker, speed, ability. Here, this. How many of these do we have? We have 70 of these. Okay, that's not too bad. So I just want to replace every single one of these with comma string highlight color. And maybe we default it to UI constants dot tooltip table highlight color name. Or just default it to null even. I mean, null doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, let's replace all those and just see what happens. So I don't need this anymore. I don't need that. So every single function name has been changed. And now we need to change every call to form skill table. Does this build? If this builds, then it's going to have no difference in output. But it'll let me know if there are any errors. There are definitely errors. Because this is no longer overriding something in player ability. Because that would have had override and this doesn't. Yeah. Okay, so this should just be virtual string question mark highlight color equals null. And now those 70 errors should go away, I hope. Yeah, perfect. All right, maybe this isn't going to be that hard to change. Well, I guess we have to change all the form skill tables, don't we? Sure, there won't be 100 hours of story. Ooh, I don't want this there. Okay, great. So now every single one of these, we got to find a form skill table that exists, if it exists, and then change it to use the highlight color. There are very few of these, aren't there? Yes, there are. Huh, I'm actually surprised there are this few. Maybe because I'm going through just generated abilities right now? Yeah, that's why. Because they don't have tables, because they can't be. Okay, well then we're eventually going to get to all of them at once. Yeah, here's one. All right, so what does this take in? We have a couple of these functions, don't we? None of them take in a highlight color, though. Overload, it takes an entity from which to get the level. Okay, so we'll just take in the highlight color, right? Does this not allow us to do that? It does not. Okay. String, highlight color. So highlight color, or that, perfect. So now we just got to trace that back to here. We just pass in the highlight color. And change it here. Highlight color equals null, pass in the highlight color. Pass it over here too. All right, nice. Okay, so we need to change this everywhere. And if any of these are wrong, it's going to be a little bit hard to notice. So if I just type this, and then we just do that everywhere. Yeah, this is not just a find and replace, because like this, for example, doesn't need this because it doesn't have levels. And not every form skill table would need this. Tooltip. Oh, this is not a table. Okay. Well, I don't know how far through this thing, but we're getting there. This might have been good to just ask AI to do this. That's fine, that's fine. And then we just need to pick a color. Which might be harder than anything I'm doing right now. All right. Are we almost done? We're in the L's so far. Now we're on to P. And now what? Still P. Well, hey, it's going to make the game just a tiny, tiny bit better, right? No one's ever going to even see bone mode, though. They don't have fun playing the game up until that point. All right, now we're up to T. Still T. Oh, you know what I should have done is probably make this required as a parameter. Yeah, and that way we could detect if we've ever done this wrong, maybe. Oh, nice, we're done. Okay, so let's try this out. Oh, wait, no, we haven't passed in a different... highlight color anywhere. We have get tooltip for unlocked perk. What does that mean? Go to end screen. Okay, I don't think that matters. Get tooltip matters, and possibly this one matters. What's this do? This is used for town perk choice. Oh my god, you got to be kidding me. Okay, so there's just one function for this. I guess this wouldn't have changed anything. All right, let's pass in the highlight color. Oh, this is only ever called from here. Can't we just have this pass in the highlight color? It doesn't really make a difference how I do it. Yeah. All right, and change the color of this. Okay, so we'll just type green here. This is not meant to be good. Let's make it slightly better, I guess. Light green. This is not meant to be good, though. This is meant to be something. I just doubt it's even the optimal price for maximizing profit. Yeah, I don't know. And one of the problems here is that you only get one shot, right? You launch and the price has to be X because you can't have different prices. There's no A/B testing. And after you've launched, you can't like launch your game a second time. You could potentially get some sales that you didn't get the first time around, but yeah, we'll never know what was the best launch price for the game. So here it's green and here it is linen. Okay, so now all we need is the right color for this. So what should we use for that? I think it should be subtle. Can we see all the colors? There's a big table somewhere. Where's that table? C# colors. No, I don't want linen there. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. So light green is there. Do we have an even subtler green than that? Pale green? I mean, not really, right? I'll try pale green. Well, I don't even know if green is the right color to use here. Is there like a pale yellow? There's pale goldenrod. Pale goldenrod. Does that work? Hey, Lucas. If you only have one shot, one opportunity. Mom spaghetti. Pricing is difficult. Wish you luck. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it is tough. Dark sea green. Where is that? There. It'd be nice to just be able to test all of these out, which we could technically do. This is kind of weird, but watch this. Okay, so wait, we got to find out what's that UI that we're in for that. It's the Town Perks panel tab here. Okay, so we will make a public static string color or highlight color equals whatever, something. Doesn't matter what. And then we'll make this a node control. So this should be fine. We should have unhandled input, right? Yeah, which we just don't have to use here. Does this use it? Nope. It uses input. So we're going to do page up. And if you press this, we want to change the highlight color to, let's just say red. Does not exist. What? How did I, how did I get turned around there? Yeah, here. So we're going to change it to red, and then whatever we have there, we're going to use over here. Choose Town Perks panel tab dot highlight color. All right, so this will let us test 2 colors, and then if this is working fine, I'll change it to be every color, and we'll just see which one looks best. Why aren't you using custom color? I just don't know what's going to look good. We can use a custom color. I'm just a really bad graphic designer / UI designer. So I'm just testing to see which of the pre-made colors look good. This probably worked, and I already formed this, so it's not doing anything. Yeah, nice. That'll work. Although we're not changing this on the fly, and that's, I guess, the real problem here. Anyway, I'm not sure how I felt about that. Honeydew is actually a very subtle version of this. Let's try that out. Honeydew. And try something on the blue side of the spectrum. Maybe powder blue, light cyan. Yeah, let's try light cyan. I was going to make something to cycle through all these, but it's not worth the hassle. I just need something with enough contrast. All right, so town perks. Oh, that's almost impossible to see. It's too subtle. All right, what about the other color? That's pretty nice. I think that's also a little bit subtle though. So maybe I'm going in the wrong direction here. So honeydew and powder blue are too subtle, but light green was too much. I don't know. Let's try sky blue and light sky blue. I would need to test this with every single perk in the game as well to make sure that it renders correctly. And do we ever have these tables anywhere else? No, I think this is it. So that's sky blue, and this is light sky blue. They look identical. Yeah, I don't really see the difference. I also think this is too much. Gotta be a better way to do this. Pale turquoise. Yeah, by the way, I don't fault you for looking at this from a customer's perspective. That's what gamers are going to do. And if I said, hey, this game took 14 years to make, that's not going to change that they think it's a good value or not. The thing, okay, so I think that the game is fun, that people who play it have a good time. And if they want to keep playing, like, let's say they get through story mode and they're like, oh, cool, I unlocked a new mode, and then they never play again. They might be happy with that equation already. They might be like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I just enjoyed that, and I know that there is more that I could do. I think one of the things I've kind of noticed more and more in games is that games are sort of doing everything that they can. There will be like a collection aspect. There will be achievements. There will be leaderboards. There will be, I don't know, it's like different difficulties and unlockables and just anything they can possibly do to get you to play more and more of the game. And I played Ball X Pit, and it just felt like they had thrown in every possible thing. And it felt almost insincere to me. And I know people love the game. It's done fantastically well on Steam. Yeah, like 13,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive. So people like this. And the gameplay itself, I think, is good. It's not like it's an unfun game or something. It's just there's a lot of extra aspects to it that I feel like they didn't even necessarily need. Like this whole aspect of making a town and building this up. But I felt like they kind of needed, they felt that they needed to do that. You have a lot of green or brownish, light tan or brown can be clear and matching. Yeah, that's probably a better idea than whatever I'm doing because I'm just kind of fumbling around here. That color's not bad though. What is that one? Pale turquoise. So I think that's my favorite so far in terms of shade. So where's pale turquoise? So can we find something that's more on the brown side of the spectrum? Like wheat maybe? Why am I doing any of this? Why am I not just typing it in here? Wheat. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. What's another one that we can pick? I think 10 would be too much. Peach puff? Peach puff. All right, so that's peach puff, wheat. Peach puff, wheat. Let's try both of those because they both look nice. They're both readable. I keep doing that. I'm just so in the habit of going to story mode because it's always what I've been testing for the last few months. All right, so that one is what? Wheat. This is wheat. And this is peach puff. Peach puff looks pretty good. All right, why am I doing that? Peach puff. It doesn't really match the other browns though that are there. Like probably, how about we just try this? Let's just take that color and just plug that in. Oh, but then it can't be a string. Oh God, what have I done? It's got to turn into a string at some point. No. This is just BB code, so we can just do this. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, so then this will exactly match the color of the other panels that we have here. I mean, not at first. It's going to pick wheat at first, but then when I re-roll this. So now this color is the same as that. I guess it almost makes it look like it's a window through this. Like you almost want it to be a little different. And I don't like the red text on this. Yeah, I think I'm just being picky though. This is what the panel background color. You reduce top margin in the top left panel. I also think the golden stud should be aligned to the left because it will keep moving when numbers change. Requires some kind of background for the values though. Move the top margin. Yeah, we could cut that out a little bit. Is that bad in story mode too? Yeah. Yeah, I think both of those are probably good changes. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Peach Puff here or whatever. And we're just going to call it a day because that looked pretty good to me. And it's such a cool sounding name. Peach Puff. What happens when you search for Peach Puff on Bing? My goodness, it's delicious. Look at these search results. This is not good to look at while I'm hungry. Peach Puff is the way. I think so. Yeah, I like this. And I think it's visible. Like if you just look at perks at a glance, you can tell which levels you have. Okay. And then regular skills still show up like that. Yeah. And we don't have this problem anywhere else. Right? No, nothing there. There aren't even tables. There's no tables. There's no table. So just this stuff. Where'd you look at the colors? You have the hex on wiki for X11 color names. Yeah, the hex is over here too. I just wanted to pick something that is just a well-known color. You know how often you say, oh yeah, that's peach puff in real life. Or that's pale blue. All right, so what am I doing now? I'm plugging this into UI constants. So this is town bone mode town perk highlight color name is peach puff. Then we delete this wherever I wrote it in the other place. Yeah, this. Change the unhandled input. Just delete the whole thing. Go to wherever we used that. Choose town perks panel tab dot highlight color. This changes to UI constants. And now we need to test every single perk in the game. Easy peasy. It actually is easy peasy, but it'll take a long time. So we got to go to a scenario that does not give you any perks by default. Yeah, here. In fact, this will also let us test dud perks. And then we grant ourselves a whole bunch of money. Continue playing. Yeah, the confetti. I forgot about that. And then we look at every single perk and we just make sure that this is peach puff and not a different color. In fact, maybe we should make it red. Can I save this? You can't load from a completed game. Oh, whatever. I guess it's gonna be obvious enough if it's a wrong color, right? Yeah. So we're just looking at colors. If you ever see a color that is not peach puff, there's a problem. And so far everything looks fine. We'll eventually have gone through every single perk that exists. Like I said, this is tedious, but it is easy. And if we only ever look at the middle one, we don't even need to glance at the side ones. And so far, everything has been good. I did not do this in an automated way, which is why it's possible that I messed up one of these without messing up the rest of them. Because not all of them had tables. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, if we haven't run into anything by now, it'll probably be fine. Yeah, it's probably going to be fine. But we are exhausting the pool very slowly. Like we've gotten all of these perks now. And that's using linen, right? Yeah. Now that almost looks too subtle. Wait, no, it's not using linen. That's wrong, isn't it? Is this another optical illusion? No, it is using linen. Yeah. The dud perks add like 15 perks into the pool. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a bit. Because if there is a problem, we have multiple chances to see it. And so far, I have not seen a problem. God, there's so many perks. Hey, max all dud perks in a single run. I got an achievement. Oh, nice. We're down to just 2 now. There, cool. All right. No, that's that. So we can mark this task as complete. Did I wander? Change highlight color for bone mode town perks. Fixes this. Hey, Vivid. Welcome in. Over there on YouTube. Okay, so this is what the whole diff is pretty much going to look like, which is that we added in a new parameter and we use a parameter when we form a skill table. So there's not a lot to look through here. Just to make sure I didn't break anything. So far, so good. Yep. I'm going to do this very quickly. Although even doing this quickly with 70 files is not all that fast. But I'm not very closely looking at this because we just tested everything. There are no breaks, no errors, right? There's one error. What is causing this? Oh yeah, the goblin thing. I don't know why that started happening all of a sudden. And Snake Buddy, same thing. But this is not related to this at all. And they're not even really errors, they're just warnings. Oh my god, this is so boring. I'm like more than halfway through. Yeah. And you might be like, well, look, if you look through all these already, isn't this pointless? But I had some other changes that I made, and I don't remember what those were. I always think about this like doing surgery and leaving gauze inside the patient. Like that right there. That shouldn't have been there. And I should just put a comment here. Yeah, cool. Okay. This needs a different highlight color because the background is white. And the background this is highlighting against is the tooltip background, which is sort of beige. Use automatic formatting and linting in some sort of fashion. Automatic formatting, yes. Automatic linting, no. Other than the analyzers that happen that show through error lens. But it's not going to just fix those for me. I will probably end up switching to Rider as my main editor, especially now that JetBrains is going to be sponsoring me. So this is good. Yeah. Okay, now let's make those changes that Dark talked about. Can you reduce the top margin in the top left panel? Nope. Now let's just close everything. UI has the town menu. And here you are. I guess let's go into that. So there's kind of a shadow effect here, which probably is part of the texture. So we probably can trim this down. Where do you come from? Right there. So panel container, panel, texture margin, top 17. Isn't there content margin? Yeah, here. Top is 20. No, top is -1. What does -1 even mean? Does it mean that he uses 17? Is this the same as -1? Yes, it is. Okay. So then we just set this to, I don't know, 10 maybe? Yeah, that's not bad. Excuse me. Using rough with pre-commit for a Python project. Yeah, I think if you can quickly run all your linters and also trust that they're not going to do bad things for you, then yeah, I think it's nice to do that. Every once in a while, you run into like a small issue where the linter tries doing something where I'm like, nah, that's just not good. And we have to disable it. So do people think this looks better? This is with 10 pixels. So you're looking at the distance between the text bone mode here and the top of this. And this is what it used to be, 17 pixels. It does look like there was too much space there. Yeah, I think 10 looks pretty good. If we made it any lower, like at some point you just don't have padding there. I mean, that's not terrible. Maybe even like 7's not bad. I don't know. Yeah, let's shave off 10 pixels. Cool. So there's that. And then the other thing that Dark said is, can we align the golden sludge to the left? Yeah, that should be really simple, right? We just click. Why can't we expand that? Because the whole VBox container needs to be expanded, which even that can't be. Why is that? This should, oh, weird. I just couldn't click the thing. So this would align it to the left. I don't think I like that. I don't know. Order blank keycaps. Oh, nice. This reminds me of Othello, the game, which is probably known by some other name. You have an Othello keyboard now. All right, so I make a new game. Here's what this looks like. It's not as bad over here. And then if we unlock the farm, and then if we get a bunch of money or sludge, yeah, this doesn't change anything now. What do people think? Do they like it left aligned? Because I just feel like I'm such a bad judge of this that I should not be the one to make this call. All right, well, let me take a picture. Look better with a background, but should be textured. Well, if we don't have a background, there it is left aligned, and here it is not left aligned. Lines up with the buttons. Top margin left alignment. Okay, yeah, then cool. I mean, I already loaded this, so I might as well show you what it looks like with it not left aligned. But yeah, you can see it moving a little bit as the numbers change, which I think is weird. So yeah, it's this versus this. All right, let's change it back. Hey, Jazz. And yeah, thank you. Cool. So then let's do that. So improve the look of the town menu. Dark suggested both of these improvements. Lowered the top margin by 10 pixels. And left aligned the currency labels. Let's just make sure that's actually what happened. Yep. Great. And it actually removed a line because I guess it expands by default. So now the game's going to be just a tiny bit smaller. People can play 1 nanosecond sooner. All right. Wow. So we fixed this too. All right. Let's see. I mean, this is probably not happening. What even is this? Currently, the UI generates perk choices. I think perk choice tracker classes should be responsible, and the UI should just listen. Then reroll perks can move. This sounds like a great change that is not at all worth doing because players don't see this. It sounds like a Freudian slip. Like, whoops, I said customers. They're going to be spending money, but they are going to be spending money. That's not necessarily how I look at things. Squeeze money out of the player. All right. This still sounds like a great code change, but it's not something that will impact players. So it's just not worth doing. Why is the background that in the perks tab and not the brownish one? I think that's the actual background of the graphic that was used to make it look more like paper and not like a scroll, I think. But I don't know where that is. It's like paper's Substack or something. I'm not going to be able to find this quickly. But yeah, I think it's just part of the graphic. Now, why is it white in the graphic? I don't have the answer to that. Yeah, I can't even find the graphic. Anyway. Okay, what else? I don't think this is going to happen. I think Xyletics proposed this, yeah. Move the medals until you earn one. It's how a lot of racing games work. You don't know what you're aiming for until your first run. So this is the experience that a new player would have. They would unlock bone mode for the first time. They'd only have scenario 1 unlocked, and it's called getting started. They would not see this text. This wouldn't show up. So it would just say getting started. The first scenario is intended to help you get the hang of bone mode. It's short and starts you with extra gold. Click start scenario, and now here's the issue. You can see, if you hover over time elapsed, what the medals are. But up until then, the only thing you'd see is when you're at the 10-minute mark. Well, the 14-minute mark because it's 10 minutes remaining. You'd see something saying, hey, you have 10 minutes left to earn a medal. I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think I'm going to do this. Yeah. I will have to see what the player base thinks about medals and whether they're causing undue pressure. But I don't think it's worth making this change ahead of time. I'm not opposed to it for the future. Why is it the old town menu? Why is what the old town menu? This is the new town menu. I don't know where you saw the old one. But yeah. Feel free to tell me, because if you did see it somewhere, then it would be a problem. It shouldn't even exist in the game anymore. So they're showing an outline of the bone mode medal. You're on track to win. I thought this would be kind of nice to do. But we need a tooltip or something. Yeah. A nice polish thing, but I think we would need a tooltip for the outlined medal to make it clear that you haven't actually gotten it yet. Not the improved, I mean. What are you asking, Crank? I don't understand. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I truly don't understand. Yeah. See if trackpads and touchpads are broken for scrolling. I am probably not going to end up doing anything about this. He's pointing out that currency is centered again. Oh, I just don't think I restarted the game. That's all. Yeah, thank you, Xyletics. Yeah, so if I restart the game and go back to that, you'll hopefully see it left aligned. Otherwise, I broke something. But yeah, I was testing what both of them looked like. And after taking the screenshot of the left aligned one, I needed to go back to take a screenshot of the center aligned one. Yeah, this is what it looks like now. Or anything else? I mean, this probably isn't going to happen at this point. Yeah. Maybe a decent change for the future, but it's not something that's going to happen before launch. Tell players who change languages to reload the game if they see issues. I don't think this is worth it. Yeah, I don't think this is worth it. If people experience a problem with this, I think they would naturally reload. However, two things should prevent most players from ever having this problem. One, the game automatically detects which language your OS is in and then tries to use that. And two is that most people would probably have changed the language from the title screen anyway. And this isn't a problem there. Well, it shouldn't be a problem there. And if it is, then we should fix that for sure. I already put work into fixing that before, which is why I'm saying it this way. Yeah. Wonder how the menu background will look on an ultra-wide monitor since we're resizing it to fit. Just like CSS object fit works. The menu background? The town menu background? Because we're not resizing that. Maybe this is what you mean? Yeah, this might be what you mean. I don't know what it would look like, but I guess we can kind of simulate it by just doing this, right? It probably looks stupid. Yeah, I don't really know what we would do about that, though. Yeah. All right, I think I should probably get lunch. I'm going to not be streaming as much in the next week or so because I think marketing is more important than development at this point. Like you can see the kinds of issues I tackled. They're not bad, but it's like, okay, we changed the highlight color on a table. Like that's a level of issue we can actually tackle at this point. And there are some more of these sorts of things that I want to do, but in general, I want to just mostly close issues and not do anything about them. So we're down to not really 48 because I've only assigned myself some of these. Like this one's done, so 47, 46, 45, 44. Yeah, that one's fixed. And 43. So we're down to 43 issues, I think. And I don't think this is an issue. Anyway, I will go do some more marketing. And I will probably be back online tomorrow. Then started tackling the backlog. Yeah. So please bear with me over the next like week or so as we get ready for launch. If you haven't joined Discord already, there's the link. I am trying to get more people into there for the launch so that I can communicate with everyone. It would be nice. And if you haven't checked out Scala Seller, there's a link to that too. Hey Smurf, and thank you. I am gonna raid a streamer I just found yesterday actually, who plays Dwarf Fortress. So let's go hang out there. At least for a bit. And then I'm going to eat lunch. Oh, wait, why isn't this working? There we go. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you for being here. I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Goodbye.